Yeah, basically, I was doing some research earlier and I was looking up what the market share of Google was right now, and it's like 90% market share when it comes to search engines. For the people like me in the audience, what is the connection between Google and SEO?
Do you know what Google is?
Google is like, it's like Ask Jeeves.
It's very similar to Ask Jeeves.
That's all I use is Ask Jeeves.
So that there is a noun for this. Do you know what it is?
A noun for what?
For Google.
A noun for Google?
It's called a search engine.
Okay, yes.
Can we then talk about what SEO stands for?
Yeah.
Search engine optimization.
Yeah.
So if you take the search engine part of SEO, and we've acknowledged that Google is a search engine, then we are basically optimizing your business to be found by search engines, and that's
Yes.
the whole game.
Meaning what? What does that entail?
So let me tell you about this thing, Brock, we used to have called the phone book. Have
Okay.
you ever held a phone book before?
Yes, I used to get the phone book every couple months.
Dude, there was this house in my neighborhood growing up that this guy didn't live at. He lived in California, but he owned this house, and we watched for 5 years. There was just this growing pile of phone books that would show up and just start decomposing and everything. If you go back to the early 2000s, before search engines really became profitable, I think, where did you find people back in 1993? If you needed to find a window repair business, Brock, where were you looking?
The Yellow Pages.
So that has evolved over time. People don't go to the phone book. It's not like if you look back in Back to the Future, when Marty McFly is trying to find out where Doc Brown lives or whatever, looking up his phone number, he looks in the phone book. If that were to happen today, he'd be looking on Google, right? So search engines have effectively replaced the phone book that everybody had in their house. So this game has been going for longer than you think. There's always been ways for people to kind of gamify it to try and show up, rank higher in phone books. A big thing that you still kind of see artifacts from today are businesses with AAA in their name, because they would rank top of the phone book, things like that. But there's also things you can do. You can pay to have advertisements. You can pay to put coupons in the phone book, things like that. A lot of that is directly transferable to the search engine world that we live in today.
So in layman's terms, search engine optimization is trying to get your website, your business, to rank the highest in Google. So when you search up window repair, your window repair business is #1 result, because that's what most people click. So you will in turn get more business. Now that we have that out of the way, so Google is kind of our bread and butter. Has it always been that way? What were the search engines back in the day when it was first on the scene? Was there a little bit of competition or not really?
Alta Vista.
Yeah, AOL was on there. Lycos.
AOL keywords.
Yeah.
That was big.
Remember Lycos? What was the other one that was I want to say it was Western themed. It wasn't Western themed, but
There's this little known thing called Yahoo that was pretty big.
Yahoo was one. There were these really obscure ones that never really took off. They had millions of users, but they weren't like Yahoo, which had the majority of the market share. But we didn't make money until Google came on the scene, because people didn't really, I don't know, they didn't really understand the value of the internet, and really people weren't using the internet. Because back then the internet was chat rooms and kids kind of hanging out and just messing around. People weren't, they were still using the phone book. It was a big deal when the phone book started to become irrelevant. It felt like the fall of a titan. But all these older people that are older now, still alive, they were not using the internet. So the phone book still had all the power, and then slowly it shifts to Google, and it just stomps them out.
Who has the money?
Adults.
Old people, the grown up. Basically, the money is where the old people are willing to be. And honestly, if you look back at it, Facebook kind of exploded in value when everybody's parents started getting on it. It's it got big. Millennials were on it. It wasn't really a huge money maker until their parents started getting on it. Same thing with search engines. Is they existed, but they were mostly for honestly academic stuff, things like that. It was just trying to find resources and things like that to write your papers, or sometimes to find a business, but it was mostly, there was no algorithm to play to. It was just all pure based on popularity kind of thing. Over time, they're hey, people are finding things on this Google thing. How can I get found on it? And then some John Google guy just had a freaking light bulb moment. He's dude, we can just make billions. We can print our own money basically if we can gamify this.